Hi guys, I'll be just a few minutes late. I want to play some music, so let's get your coffee and get together. So I'll see you very soon. So let's start with this. grabbed a quick snack. That's right. Capricorn is going next. Can you all hear me? Are we all good? Let me see who is here. You want a little bit of my chicken? Tiger needs to share my lunch. It's so sweet. I was in a meeting since 8 o'clock in the morning. The meeting is actually still going on in the other room. But I asked to be excused. Let's see who is here. Woohoo! I have my crowd. Anita Rekla was first. Kylie. Meeting Yogi, good morning. Lorna H, good morning. Hi, Chris. Barbie's here. Look at her. She has a new picture. Isn't she cute? Hi, F. Excuse me, we miss you too. Crystal. Who else? This is like so far that we're showing. Hopefully more people will come up. So let's turn this music down so I could just jump right into it. I'm just going to go at some point. I don't know what happens when the Zoom meeting goes down. At some point I'll have to go and turn it off. Tiger was really angry that I closed the door behind and he doesn't want to be left behind. But just please let me know if you have any issues with hearing this, because it's really important that we have a really good connection. So I don't know how many of you were here. If you remember, we stopped on Capricorn. Capricorn has been drawn as a sign, and we kind of like seen a little bit, kind of like a glimpse that this is what's happening next. So we are starting there. Let me just try to go back to my screen if I can. There, I'm doing like 5 things at the same time. I dropped about 50 pencils just before starting. So that's going to be a nice picking up thing later. So let me see, Capricorn. We are starting with you. And let's do that. So the how I do it, it's a mini annual reading, guys. You can get your own, and it's not going to look like this because then all of these 4 categories, which are quarters, I started this with 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 5 or 6 decks. And this is kind of like explaining to you what to do quarterly. And then I go into astrological houses, then I go into Lenormand. So you really literally know and learn everything about your own thing. So this is a part 2, because we had a part 1 last Saturday. And so we are starting with Capricorn. So if you guys missed last week, we read Taurus, we read Cancer, we read Virgo, we read Scorpio, we read Sagittarius, and we read Pisces. So now we are doing the rest. Yeah, isn't she like kind of like fun? And it's really, really cute, adorable pic. So Capricorn, let's start with you. Okay, how many Capricorns? How many people know Capricorns? Chris is a Capricorn over here, so he can put his 2 cents over there. Oh, this one jumped out. Ooh, we have disruption. Then that's a birthday present. Then you have sacral chakra. Well, I have to tell you that second quarter will be lots of fun. If you like sex, and guess which sign aside from Scorpio is known for it? It's going to be plenty of those. Let's see the third quarter. Hey, yes, it is Cutter Day. Then we have a spiritual strength. And this is so freaking typical for Capricorns. They're on and off. Like, Capricorns are known, especially, for example, when it comes to sex, they can kind of like go all the time. And then they decide for some spiritual idea, this is not a good idea. And then they just stop, and it frustrates their partner. And that's kind of like what I see. This is going to be a really strange year, right? So, yes, it's a part 2 for annual messages, not for anal messages. But anyway, just kidding. You spell it correctly. Ooh, and then you have deception and envy over here. So let me get 4 more over here. I saw Chris online, so he usually comes in and out. So we have already 3. So this one is opportunity beckons, but it's reversed. Darkest fears, and it's a release. This is like a very strong Mars and very strong Scorpio. So it will be Aries, Scorpio, Aquarius, kind of a year. It's going to be very. Oh, he waved. Okay. Well, hopefully he says hi. And then there is the last one, open up. So, what do I make out of it? You guys feel free to chime in. And also, you know that messages can be for anybody, not just for Capricorn. That's how it works with live. It's just like if your angel, energy, whatever you want to call, needs to communicate with you, they will find a mean. And that's the way to do it, usually via electronic means, right? So let me see. I tried to move it a little bit on the side just to see positioning, and this seems to be perfect. Okay. Good one, creative guru. So guys, for you Capricorns, what I see over here, that is going to be something really turbulent happening in the first quarter. This is the general, tower in the regular oracle, but I'm purposely taking these oracles because I find that oracles really give you vision and everything, and they don't really have to go to extremes, but it just shows that you're disjointed. This can literally mean from you having back issues and having some alignment issues. It can, that's not fun either, right? Because anybody who had back pain knows how awkward this is, how you feel like really not on your best game. But like what I see over here is also that he's holding his, can you see that? He's holding his arms kind of like folded right before his chest. And that is like to me very interesting, because it's almost like holding your heart chakra from getting something in. So is it something that you really need to work on? Because the tarot card generally talks about feeling let down, feeling like that maybe it's not necessarily something that was directed toward you, but it's something that it felt like you didn't deserve it. But it generally comes to us, and you also have death, right? So these are two cards that I'm seeing like as a big connection. So that usually to me is like, hello, something has to stop. And then you go, oh, whatever, I can keep going. And then you go into a little kind of like more balanced state. You're really trying to make it work, because temperance is always saying, oh, anything can happen, everything can be worked out, right? And then you go into devil stage, right? So that's the 15th, and this is basically your card. Then you go, okay, well, it's not going to hurt me, just like one extra piece of cake, and oh, it's not going to hurt me, like just like let me taste different sexual partners. And next thing you know, you're dealing with HPV, you're dealing with issues. Somebody is creating legal problems, and that's kind of like where this card kicks in. It's never pleasant. And it's always very useful, because if you didn't recognize the signs when they were coming on, for you almost like come in a reversal, that maybe it's going to be some reminder. That's what I said you might be dealing with a Scorpio, because Scorpio usually brings this transformational energy, or somebody who has a very strong Scorpion kind of like attitude, which is really good. We have a really interesting Pluto positioning in this upcoming year, and this is going to be really interesting, that something that you really thought is gonna happen, it's kind of like dead on arrival kind of a thing. And almost like looks like the disappointment leads you to really go dark, which the second quarter like really advises that you need to do some kind of healing. And this healing has to be done, but look at that, like you're going to be really affected with moon phases. This is clearly, as it shows over here. You need to clearly communicate, because after all, I don't know if you're noticing, there is like this purple around him. Kind of like think about your highest good, like this is a crown chakra and this is sacral chakra. It's very, very different how we communicate in these two chakras. Sacral chakra is more or less making us understand enjoyable parts of life, right? It's kind of like dealing with creativity. It's, of course, dealing with sexuality. And it's also dealing with creating friendships. And this is really telling me that you're going to be possibly meeting dark part of yourself via different people, that it's going to be mirrored to you, right? And as that, because look at these nines that we have over here, right? As these nines are propping up, that you are going to have that aha moment by the time that summer arrives, and it's going to be, I have been doing this all my life, but now I can see, you know, that like song, Amazing Grace. I have been blind, but now I can see. For you, it's going to be simply a paradigm shift of a sort that is starting with some kind of turbulence right out of the gate. Then there is like some kind of like reshift, and you are kind of like doing some repair. It almost like feels like you're going a step kind of like behind of some sort, and there is like this release, and this is a very positive card. You're releasing anything that just outlived its purpose, that is just like not fitting anymore, that it just kind of like was burdening you. Maybe you're more candid, maybe you're more authentic, maybe you're more vulnerable, but you are going to go into Zen mode. Its spirituality is going to be extremely important. I also feel that some of you might go to some kind of pilgrimage, or you're going to really pay attention not only to your belief system but to many others, and that's going to start opening eyes to you. It's really interesting because we have 11 here, 9 and 2, and we also have a repeat of that 7 and 4, right? And actually we have a 7 or 4 here if you really look at it. So it's a healing year. And also 11, it's not only healing year, but it's telling you that you can be a healer yourself. So who is a healer? Anybody who has a pure mind, basically, and pure heart, for me, is a healer. And this is kind of like what I see here happening. There is like a method of purification that is like put in process, and that something is really, really pushed forward, right? Now, when it comes to us, we also have to, it's not just like all pleasure and games. We also have to learn about a little bit unsavory aspects of our life. So I see deception and envy over here, and that's like a moon in Aquarius. Be very careful about that. This is like I'm talking about something that maybe a partnership or something that you started in the summer might come to look very different at this point, because somebody's taking off their mask and you cannot believe what's happening. So the key over here is like, look at this, like you have this crown chakra right here, you have a crown chakra right here. This is like the connectivity to the universe, to God. So you were like making like big kind of like path forward, and this is like really asking you to kind of like embrace this new you, and it's going to feel something that is very that is something really different for you. This is like a really fire card, and you're going to be all fired up by your next birthday. Trust me, you're going to be a very different person than who you are today. You possibly cannot even envision it right now. If you have your paper calendar, any kind of calendar for the next year, I suggest you take this URL, this link, and just say, watch this December 20th, 2022. It's going to be really, really powerful for you. So that's kind of like what I have for Capricorn. So what Chris said, my youngest son is December 26th and my cousin December 31st. So actually that usually happens, that you have families that cluster in the signs. My brother, first daughter is Capricorn. She's like January 11th. She feels like a total oddball in her family. Just like, how did you end up here? Because like we are all air and fire signs. One cluster of the family, other cluster is lots of water. And we have two different clans, and we don't kind of get along with each other. And usually the earth signs can be that bridge that happens. And this is basically, I think, the first earth sign in a long, long time. So it's going to be really interesting. So please, guys, give me a second to go and turn off the Zoom over there. I don't know what's happening. I don't want anybody to listen to this and whatnot. But let me just stop this Capricorn and just let's see who we can anticipate next. Capricorn here. And the next one will be, woohoo, it's us, Aquarius. When the moon is in the 7th house, I can't sing and I cannot play it because it's going to be a big copyright flag. Just give me a second and I'll be right back. it actually just closes on its own, so there's no need to panic. But I was a little bit sneaky. I kind of recorded the meeting, the part that I left, so in the end, I'm not going to miss out anything. So let me just put here a timestamp for Aquarius, girls and boys. We are here. Okay, so Aquarius, let's hope it's good, right? Could be louder there. Can't use headphones right now. I don't know if I can put it louder here. Let me see. Where's my gain? Is almost at the maximum. I'm always afraid to put it always to the top maximum because then pick up everything up, even the bugs walking around it. But hopefully this is better. Is this helping, guys? I really hope it's helping. For the next week, I'll try to install microphone overhead for me, and hopefully that's going to help for the future. So captions are another option, yeah, but it's much easier when you listen. That way you don't have to stare at the screen. I know what she's talking about. So I really hope this helps. Now I'm speaking directly to the microphone, and that's the maximum I can do, which is strange. This is the same microphone I had in Toronto. So let's see. I already spent a minute shuffling. So Aquarians, we're starting with the devil. So there's going to be something about Saturn, something Saturnian, something connecting to Capricorns, if a sort, or kind of dealing with our own issues over here. Okay, I'm glad to hear it. Guru, two majors, three majors. So we have temptation, we have new beginnings. I would say that should be temptations. I don't know why they forgot that S. New beginnings makes sense. Authority. ASMR volume cat. Oh my gosh, we are getting 4 majors. So guys, watch out for Aquarians this year. And I had a feeling, wasn't it the same? We didn't do Leo. We did Taurus. It was also major thing, and it was Scorpio. So it's one of those shift years that really needs new structure building. And whenever there's a structure built, we usually have win or lose. Ooh, it's reversed, which is awesome. I'm always getting confused when I see this card. Almost looks like a Ace of Swords, but it isn't. It's actually 5 of Swords. So let's see. Strengthening bonds. Take the lead. Holy moly. No pressure. Throat chakra. So there is Aquarius rising over here. I am Aquarius. My sun's sign is Aquarius. AF, her oldest, is Aqua Sound, January 28th. I have a cousin. He is January 31st. His wife is January 28th. One very good friend of mine is January 23rd. I have lots of January Aquarians that they find a little bit different from February Aquarians. Like, I mean, they're like 3 decans, as you know. So the first decan is like very analytical. They're more, I would say, strict than the other Aquarians. Then I would say the middle ones are the path breakers, if you wish. And we, the third decan where I'm at, we are like the crazy ones, totally crazy ones. Like all Aquarians are crazy. So there you go, Kylie, 2 kids with air. So what do I see here, guys? Besides the fact that this is no choice for Aquarians, this is like something we need to do. This is like stepping up in a big grown-up shoes over here. And these big grown-up shoes are really, really important. So there is like, if you really look 15 and 5, even though I generally don't like adding too much when it's a major one, but just this is kind of like how they came out. This is really telling me about judgment. So it's karmic, right? So even though not a single one is a karma card, so it's not predestined, which means even though it's a major arcana, it still can be modified and worked on, etc. It still is something we must go through. So this is like obligatory. You cannot finish the school year without reading, for example, Anna Karenina or whatever you want to call it, right? Your youngest is January 22nd. This is going to be toughy. Like all Aquarians are going to look like young adults, and the initial beginning of the first quarter is going to be shedding our own sins and working. And win or lose is a really bad card, really, really bad card. It talks about winning at all costs, not caring who loses, not caring who is wounded, but it came reversed. It is actually getting that. And that's the problem with Aquarians. We love the mankind. We don't know how to love the human next to us. That's the domain of Pisces. And this is really telling me that there is a shift that is really happening for us, where we are kind of like really merging with that very moonlighty, kind of like moody kind of like thing. And that can cause possibly bonding on some levels that maybe it's not a good fit for us. Temptation, the devil card, if you can see it here, almost looks like, to me, like the window on a ship where you're sealed as it is. You already feel like trapped, right? But there is like a key over here that is really showing in the key. If you can see it, I don't know if it shows properly. It's love. It is absolutely love that is captured, but not entirely. So I love this interpretation because it doesn't show chains, but it shows that, you have to turn around. Like if this heart turns sideways, you will be able to see different things. And this is like feeling that we have to do the same thing. And usually when I read individual kind of like readings, people say, oh, I have always been this way, or there is like this preface always, I always did things this way, or this is how I do things, because we learn and we build certain systems as we go throughout life. And this is usually when it comes through that we are really stubborn. We really want to adhere to it. And even though everybody knows, hey, you know what, that hairdo doesn't really good on you, you have to shed that carrot hair kind of a thing. But you don't want to tell it to your friend because you're going to hurt her feelings. But that's kind of a thing that now we will not need other people to tell us. We are going to look inside and do a whole bunch of crappy things. I really have to tell you, the first 3 months are going to be really interesting. It's going to be overindulgence. It's going to be jumping from things, but we are going to find what we are settling on to. So it's almost like, okay, next year, or like you finish school and in 3 months you're going to start employment. So now is the time to get the crazy out. And crazy it's going to be, I really have to tell you. But in that crazy, it's going to be born some kind of like humility, some kind of like a newfound connection with the fellow man, not with the humanity kind of a thing. And it's going to be a completely new and beautiful thing to observe. And hence, spring comes, there are new beginnings. This is so lovely. So now this new, it's almost like a new plant that came out from the trunk, and now it's kind of like fostering, except now we are really ready to go big and to spread the wings and to fly in a really, really big direction. I absolutely love this card. Barbie, when I see this card, I often think of you. It's kind of like that overseer who can kind of like do different things, who left the walls behind her, who is just like stepping in a completely new thing. It's a new world, if you wish. So for that, you need to really be brave. And it's almost like similar here, and couldn't be more appropriate with all the spring flowers. And I don't know why I'm thinking this is magnolia, but magnolia never has, or maybe does have a trunk like this sometimes, but it doesn't matter. It's just like a little bit of suggestion of purity to me. And it's kind of like we will be guided. It's not going to be lots of obstacles in this period of time. And this is going to how it's going to continue. So hence, anything that you have in mind, any crazy thing you have in mind, you have to do them before March 21st. Because after that, you're called to step up, and you're called to do really important things. You will know what it is. It's going to be fully formulated in your head in March, April, and May. And then, like during the summer, it's going to be, okay, how do I put my feet down? How do I put my teeth in? And we are taking charge. It's something that is really meaningful to us, that we are forced to reckon with authority. We are in control. We know what we want. We are finding other people are bending to us. We have no problems communicating what we want as people don't see us weak. In fact, they find that like what we are bringing is very important and that we kind of like can move forward and take the lead is like take this fire and deal with that. It might be a little bit hairy at times and we might burn ourselves, but that's okay. So this is kind of like almost repetition here, except this is now a major and this is our card, the star card. And isn't this absolutely lovely? So now we are releasing this. We have learned something and almost like looks to me we are training or applying. And this is the card of the ultimate nourishment. So it's almost like coming 360 from here, learning how to deal with somebody one-on-one through negative and through very positive experience. So this is the first half of the year. And then, okay, now I can replicate this and I can apply it to everybody. So it's going to be possibly some kind of like communication. It could be communication job. It could be, so you have like different signs as well. Capricorn, this would be air sign. This is Aries, and this is like another Aquarius, which very much could be us. And throat chakra is kind of like weird, especially if you are born between, I would say, mid 60s to early 70s. That's where I think it's the North Node. Am I right? The North Node is in Gemini. Okay, I may be mixing it up. So correct me if I'm wrong. So North Node in, North Node in Sagittarius. And North Node in Sagittarius makes us explore things, make us do different things, but it's still the background of Gemini behind it, of the South Node. We're saying, like, you had this done. You already learned it. Now it's time to remember and to apply it. It cannot be better that throat chakra pairs up with light. So anything that we are going to speak, so be very important. Like when they say, I'm going to wash your mouth with a soap, which is really weird to start with. But we are going to know which words to use, and they're going to be very effective. They're going to be released out. So beware, because if you, for some reason, decide to sleep through all of this and just kind of like be spiteful toward what assignment we have, then you might release something that is negative that's going to come back to you because they're major arcanas. It's not something that's going to be forgiven or forgotten. But if you do this stuff, if you go with the flow, which actually I think is going to be fun, like it's going to be absolutely amazing. And I love when I get such a good display for any sign, but this is really lovely, my dear Aquarius. So, I didn't put the freaking Aquarius on it. Sucks. Sucks. Oh, you're on 401? Hello. 401 is a highway that goes across Ontario. It's in Toronto. It's snowing between Toronto and Belleville. Looks beautiful. Oh, we have snow so early this year, guys. We had snow here in New Brunswick. It was like 10 or 15 centimeters. That would be like 4 to 6 inches. And oh my God, they have it so well organized here. Every 5 centimeters, every 2 inches, the plow comes through, they clean it. It was like, oh my gosh, why Toronto can't do that? So it's kind of like weird. So, Carrie. So let's see who is next. Are those the ones that I read? This must be the ones that I read. The next one is Gemini. We have this air. Like today is air, right? Because this was just the draw. And where is my purple pen right now? Oh, come on. My purple pen. So let's see. Gemini. Right after the live, I'll try to drive to Nova Scotia, actually, because tomorrow might be snowing as well. So just want to make it before the major snowfall. So I can say that other than Norton, like territories, like we have provinces and we have territories, I've stepped foot in every single one. So, okay, let's put the sign for Gemini. At least I remembered. now, so at least I have something here. Here we go, two little hugging kitty cats. And let's do it. Gemini. Do I miss Toronto? Oh my gosh, no. You would not believe it how beautiful it is here. Not only the people, and my travel to work is 10 minutes, and this is like in the opposite side. Um, I just miss that its choices are much bigger in Toronto, and I also miss variety, like all freaking white people here. Like so, with that, also there's no variety of food and stuff that I miss, which means I have to learn how to cook everything. I know how to do Indian food. I know Chinese, but I miss my jambalaya kind of a thing. But we'll see. So did you catch those orbs on the right side of the screen when cat unwrapped Gemini? Oh my gosh. So there are messages for somebody coming through. So we have wisdom. Ooh, we have crown chakra Gemini as well. Like there are two, I guess, majors as well. Gemini. Ooh, there are three. Ooh, I'm starting to have goosebumps right now. Uh, four. Like you're going to be very similar to Aquarius over here. You have really, really high calling here. I really have to tell you as well. And it's going to ask you, this is going to be very different for you, Gemini. You are usually the butterfly, the life of the party. You do different things, and I get most complaints about you and Sagittarius, just between the two of us. And this is going to be very different. You are also just like what I said for Aquarius, put like my big boy pants, big sis pants, and you are going to be making a difference over here. Let me just get four more here. Ooh, you have throat chakra over here. Still the orbs are there. I actually cannot see it on my screen. I probably should go on the other one, just the camera one, and see. So you're getting choose your battles and solar plexus over here. And one more. This one. Master. Why? But look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have 7 freaking cards in Masters. So guess what? And the last one is called Master. But this is a devil card, so this is really talking about the master. It's almost like in the other psychic, what is this called? Psychic tarot, and this is hard psychic tarot. Don't quote me. I think it's psychic tarot for a heart or something like that. I can look it up if you're interested. I really love these oracle decks. But this is coming through almost like, okay, let's see what we have learned. Like, let's kind of like chat about it. So it's going to be really, and where is my purple pen here? They're moving like fireflies. Oh my goodness. Oh, I can see it now. That's amazing. That usually means souls. Actually, it's funny that you're mentioning guys, because this morning I woke up and that was on my mind. This house has been built in 1978. So before then, like it was just a land, right? But it was a land of the native people who, and also from Acadian people. And since I'm living really close to the river, I mean, really about 7 minutes walk, 5-minute walk to the river. If we didn't have the houses and everything here, right? This was like basically where like the people will come and situate and grow, because it's like the flood plain, right? What they call it. But they were also chasing them and killing them. And I was really wondering if there are any souls that are kind of like living here with me, because generally, finally, I'm done with all the workers, and I can't, there are still a few things I just can't anymore. So at this stage, I saged it last night, and I invited everybody to come and say hello. And that's really interesting that you guys are doing that, right? So let's start, guys. Gemini, wisdom and throat chakra. You have to choose the words you speak. No more that incoherent blur that comes out. We love you for it, but you are this time going to graduate, and you are going to be able to kind of like know, and it's going to be almost like a shocking. You're going to be all for family. You're like usually left and right. So keep in mind, Gemini and Sagittarius are the same teeter-totter, so it kind of applies on both signs. Whenever, whatever is the opposite sign, look into that. And it's not the opposite of what you'll have, but it could be in addition, because in order to have teeter-totter, you have to have the balance, right? And it's a principle in nature. It's a principle of anything that really works. It's not so much symmetry, but it's balance. Symmetry is where we get in trouble. Twin flames are symmetry, but balance is like somebody who complements you. And that's where it's going to be your year, the year of balance, right? So wisdom is not to me the same as Hierophant. It is kind of like here, and he does have his book of rules, but I do feel that this is your book of rules. I feel that there's like something really important. It's kind of really interesting that he's coming to this family, and I don't know if she's holding a broom of some sort, which is sort of like a little bit of a guard that is really happening. So I don't know where you see it yourself here. Are you the one bringing those wisdom, which is like how I picked it up, or are you one of those who is now rejecting anything that is maybe old-fashioned, that is strict? But I also have to tell you that to me this is usually a marriage card. So it's going to be some kind of marriage, yours or somebody you know, that is going to be extremely powerful. Look at all of these chakra cards that you have. Look, you have 4. In every single quarter you need to work on it. So almost like if, like, you know, when was your line and you came through to get like what is your assignment, it was like, okay, you'll be busy, you kind of like really need to do it at this stage. You know how to do it, because chakra cards really call for you to emanate light. So it's antenna. You are attracting people and they're all upright, so you're not attracting people to confuse them. You're really attracting them and leading by example. So throat chakra leads with really good communication. They're both 5s, and it's a beginning. And you're a really great communicator, period. But now you're a filter communicator. You are very positive. There is not going to be division for you over here. Maybe you dabbled in too many things in the past, and now this is asking you to kind of like focus in a few and kind of like communicate when you cannot do something, and maybe it was a problem, you couldn't say no. Where in the second quarter, so we are talking March 21st on, you are being called to do the report on that and to choose your battles. So it's really interesting. They're both 7s. This is the highest chakra. Can you see the light coming through over here? So these are the people, and I always see that as ancestors and people who walked before us, who paved that path so we can walk on it and we can do things. But we are saying we are able to carry on this kind of like process, and we are able to go further. But it almost like, to you, this is not so much as a cleansing process as I've seen with Capricorn. This is more like you're ready. You're really ready. There's like something happening for you where you're going to put less on your plate, but you like, so choosing your battles, right? It's going to be maybe one thing at a time. Like, which to use, like, are you crazy? I cannot do that. Like, I need to be entertained because otherwise I get bored. Guess what? If you get bored, then you are becoming boring. So you really need to kind of like find this distinction, that like you need to find things that you already have that you can communicate, and you are going to do that very successfully this upcoming year. Look at this third quarter. We are entering basically this is like summer period over here, and the summer is going to be summer glow for you. I guess winter in the southern hemisphere. So you're having like this hope card, and I don't know if you can see it here. Like, we see this vision everywhere. Like, I'm just jumping at me. We see this, let's call it little people, right? Little people. Can you see? There's like emergence of something new. It's emergence of hope. You're seeing new paths and new processes. You are very confident about that. A solar plexus is kind of like you being the center of attention, but there's also responsibility, right? So it's almost like being the top lion, the lion pride. You kind of like give this sense of authority, but at the same time, you'll be always picked on. But hence, now at this stage, you know how to deal with that, because, hey, you know, with you, I'm not going to even pay attention to it, not going to address it, and so on and so forth, right? So you learn from what I see that you have you don't step in every vortex of every poo-poo. Like you kind of like choose your kind of like when is going to be the entertainment time and whatnot. So throat chakra to crown chakra to solar plexus chakra. And this is really interesting that in the last quarter, and master is also representing Capricorn. So I feel very strongly that the very last 2 weeks of 2022, it's going to be some kind of like opening of a sword. You're going to have a premonition. You're going to have maybe psychic abilities that are going to come on very strong, but you might use them as a parlor trick. You might use them in a really wrong way. And that is to me very sad because you're showered with gifts this particular year. And maybe just because it's just like so much in such a short period of time, you're not understanding yet the importance of it. But this also can represent a possibility that also we see the circles. Can you see the circular? We see the circular pattern here, circular pattern here, circular pattern here, circular pattern here, circle here. And now circle is behind us. He's kind of covering that light. And we are going from light to darkness. You are going from light to darkness. So it's really, really important. And it's a captured heart. And I feel that possibly this message means you need to open yourself out to everybody. It's not so much one-on-one. You're starting the year as one-on-one. It looks like that's the system everywhere. You start one-on-one and you need to open up more. And seeing the pattern in the readings, not only individual ones, I think it's going to be enormous spiritual growth year. Also keep in mind is like 222. Oh my gosh, I still didn't release my podcast, and I also need to do numerology for like 2022. It's extremely important. Imagine February 2nd, 2022. It's going to be freaking amazing. How we usually have Lionsgate opening right in the middle of the year. This year, it's going to be that portal through Aquarians and through kind of like that energy, humanitarian energy that is going to be happening. So it almost like looks like you maybe are being tested here in the very end to see, hey, did you learn this lesson? Because these two cards are the other sides of the coin, right? So this is like all good, all right, all the rules are written. And here's like, nah, what rules? We can just do that and who cares, right? Until, you drink something and you kill somebody and then the rules again kick in. So this is kind of like the perpetual coin that is kind of like flipping. And usually when this happens, this is like this was the beginning and the end. You need to learn everything in the middle in order for that to make sense for you. So that's really interesting over here. That's it. Knitting Yogi Psyche Tarot for the Heart. Yes, John Holland. Actually, I like got a couple of decks. One from Amazon, one from Louise Hay. And they were stuck together. They were literally glued together. And they had like this beautiful gold kind of like a border. And I was like so saddened because I was trying to remove them and they would peel the paper off. So I tried to contact the publisher via Louise Hay, and they put me in touch with John Holland. This is the same name as my dad. And he just sent me a new deck. And he said, I opened it up, I tested it. So it was freaking awesome. Like some people are so nice and responsive. So let's see. Kylie says, good news from my dad as his dad, also Gemini deceased, wants to communicate with him. Wow. That is really, really something. Wow. Okay, so did we have 2 or did we have 3? We had 3. So how about now? I guess Barbie is all confused. What do you do now? I have only 6 signs. So how about that we have the break? So we do these wishes. So guys, ask a question, and I'm going to do that. So I don't even have the thing here, but I can grab this right away. The same thing I used the last time, just to use the same principle. So guys, think of a question. It's a yes or no, but because it's annual and because it might take a little bit more time, it might tell you, not for you, it might tell you, hey, look in a different direction, but it might really be a targeted message how to get there. So I got door number 1, and I have a whole bunch of cards here. Something fell on the floor. Just give me a sec. found on the floor was Five of Cups, but I also had 10 different cards, so I'm not taking that one. I'm still shuffling on door number 2. I have it. And the door number 3 is here. Okay, let's remove this. And let me go back over here so I can put the stamp. So, for the door number 1, guys, is your wish going to come through? You're getting King of Pentacles. And King of Pentacles is generally expression of big yes. But it's yes via terms of earthly means. So if you're asking for money, for a husband, for a wife, for family to come together, for some kind of like enjoyment, for something kind of like that is a glue, that is a really, really big yes. And it's a really important card because we have all chosen this existence in order to learn Pentacles. So we do come in different shades, right? In fire, in air. But ultimately, in order for us to grow, if you really want to stay in this 3D environment, Pentacles are what we need to learn. And King of Pentacles is the ultimate pentacle, right? It's kind of like the top of the pentacles, the full maturity is released. It also is connecting with Taurus, and so maybe the swish or is going to be really important at the end of April or mid or April and May. And that's going to be really important that something will happen, or it might just come through during that time. The door number 2 is, we have 10 of Wands reversed. And this really tells me that you're going to be reaching some kind of clarity on a subject, on a person. Upright, it's always about burdens. And it's about, why are you doing this? Are you crazy? Why did you do this to yourself? You know, sometimes it's unspoken when you look and think of your people, but this is it. This is realization. I cannot do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. So how this relates to your wish, it is something that you're going to revisit how you want it to happen. Maybe it's really telling you that it's going to take too much effort, or that there are maybe easier approaches to it. This could be a yes, but I really have to tell you it's going to be depending on you quite a bit. And if it's kind of hard, usually people tend to be very intrigued and be really kind of like assigning that seriousness if something is really hard to get, right? So somebody you date, it's hard to get, you really want to date with them, and then you find out they're just jerks, right? You know, there is a document that is hard to get and it becomes very expensive. It's kind of like that's the value we assign. And maybe you're assigning value to somebody or to something that really is not valuable or shouldn't be valuable for you. So you might be spending the whole your life because you think the wealth is like, I don't know, finding a gold in the river, where, you know, if you just walk the mountain, maybe you would find something even more valuable. And that's basically what it's asking you to shift that focus. And the door number 3 is Queen of Wands. It's going to be a little bit of mystery over here. The answer is yes. And the answer is like really also about social intelligence and about emotional intelligence. I mean, that's why we have this sunflower. Do we have the face on the sunflower? No, we don't. Not that I see it with my aging eyes. But the kitty cat always talks about that unknown. It's just like, I'm here right now. I might not be here in a few moments. And if you touch my paw, I'm going to scratch you, kind of a thing. So kind of proceed with caution if you wish. But you're going to sit into this position of understanding who you are, what you want to do, and don't put all the cards on the table. That's what it says here. Keeps a little bit behind because it's going to be a bargaining chip or bargaining point, maybe later down the road. So that's what we have. You guys didn't tell me what was your pick. I should probably ask this when I kind of like do that. All right, so let's see. We have three left. And then just before I do that, so today is the 4th, and we are going to meet one more time on the 18th for this year. And on the 18th, I'm going to do the January forecasts. But on the after 18th, I think I'm going to reduce the frequency during the winter. So I'm just trying to see. Yes, it's going to be 8th and 22nd in January. And then we're going to decide February from that point on. So let's see. Knitting Yogi said I picked 3, and I asked if I should look for another place to live. Yes. And it's also going to say to you, so it's fire. It could be something with sunshine. It could be something that there's like some growth that needs to happen. Also tells you to check your legalese, because Queen of Fire sometimes connects to lawyers, etc., like that, or some governmental institutions. It could also mean that you'll be mover and shaker in this new place. So that's very interesting. Kylie, 3 spot on. My intuition is becoming fine-tuned as Jupiter go. Oh my gosh, that's going to be awesome, which is my 12th house. You're welcome. The next one is Leo. Wow, we just had Aquarius, right? So as I said to you guys, when we do any take of the sign, also the opposite sign is really important to kind of like really look into that. So let's put this little fluffy kitty cat over here, and my stamp over here. Leo. Let's see. I mean, we already know it's going to be something big, right? And let's see what assignments you have for 2022. So there is something that wanted to come out. Ooh, heartache and loss. Ouch. Ouch. Why? But then you have rejoice in celebration. Then you have harmony. And then you have base chakra that came through. So you have 2 majors. 3. Is it a third party thing, or is it something you're dealing with, some kind of demons? Let's get a little bit more information. Refusing to see its reversal. You're going to be really in your head. And for Leos, the beginning of the year, like it's really the weakest part. It's like your Achille heel, because hell, you hate cold. You hate kind of like dealing with this. And I can see things. My gosh, these cards are so similar. I'm coming together reversed. This one, when you come through, it's move. And then this 2 wanted to come. And one is trust and one is master. So mistrust and master. It looks to me that many signs, not just you, toward the end of the year will be involved in some kind of hanky-panky, which is really, really interesting, because for you, it's going to be a little bit different, given that harmony is preceding it. So let's start. The first quarter is not going to be fun, guys. Heartache and loss and refusing to see. What I seen immediately in common is like that opening. There's opening, but here she's not seeing it, and here he's not seeing it. Both of them are looking down, except he is looking at her. So do I look at them as there is like this connection, but there is a disconnect, because he almost looks like a warrior. There is a third eye over here, but is that third eye open? It doesn't look like it, right? It's almost like that there are like 2 people here possibly that exist, and maybe they exist together, and they cannot truly connect, which is sad, because we are dealing here with swords. We are dealing with communication. We are dealing with those words, but both of them either have their own quote-unquote assignments, or they have their own things to do. And this is really happening because it's adding to 5. It's adding to this wisdom. It's adding to marriage. It could be something that maybe somebody was very hopeful about, but it's not going to happen. there's like this breakup happening. But it's really weird because look at these combinations of 2 and 3, and then we have a 2 and 3 together again, right? So this is like that 5, the Hierophant, again being doubled. Another 5 is Temperance, which is really talking about the differences and kind of like understanding. I do have to tell you that something is coming apart, but like you're going to be mopping, you're going to be really, really sad, uh, all the way until you start really getting out of your whatever. Like it's almost like a corner that you put yourself in it, that I see here, but the refusing to see is reverse. So to me this is really positive, because in this case I see it as there's like a willingness to kind of like see it outside. So it's kind of like stepping out from your own problems. And sometimes, is it Mae West that said the best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody else, kind of a thing. And I know it's kind of like joking thing, but it always really works when you kind of like give other people a chance. Of course, sometimes forcing yourself to go in a relationship where you didn't close all the kind of like ties before, it doesn't help. But this really tells me something is coming to an end, and for you, it's actually opening something new, and something new is going to be really beneficial, where possibly you are regaining your friendship bonds over here. You're like finding things that you maybe have missed, or that you feel that you have missed, or that you feel that you haven't been fully authentic, and now you're able to express it, and that you maybe paid a price for it. So now it's almost like a bittersweet, if you wish. But because of that realization, because of you opening yourself, there's like something happening. And this can be, guys, moving in with somebody you love, because you have both harmony and move. Like there are two neighboring, and these are also two basically also like same as Master and Wisdom. They're two opposite ends, but this is exactly the same vibration. So this is like a light and dark version of the same card, right? So there is like this connection here. They don't have the third one, so there is like this third quarter. It's going to be something very, very important. I do see this is Gemini, this is Capricorn, so that can actually play a role. You might have an air sign here as well. You might have a water sign to some extent. So there might be the combination of these elements really prominent in this person, right? But look at that. Like from this that started like, I mean, possibly with a whirlwind romance. uh, I don't know, maybe you're making a baby, maybe sex is really important, maybe you just didn't get enough sex before and now you're making up for it. So you went through this honeymoon phase, which was all googly eye phase, and that's going to be interesting. Maybe this is two separate things. Maybe you're moving out from where you are and moving in. But this, when this shows up as a move, to me also shows as a goal. But there is like a destination for sure that is really happening. It just looks to me that in this kind of like landing on the other side, wherever kind of like you landed, like, you know, like when we have this like card 6 of Swords, usually you see these people on a boat transitioning to the other side, and we know what they're leaving. It's not great, but they don't know where they're heading, but they are trusting that it's going to be better. It cannot be like it was. Just the change is going to be better. And I really think this is like something for you that you are kind of like fostering over here. It's going to be very important. And then over here, almost looks like you end up on the other side and you're like, woo, party animal, woo. Like you're like either making up for everything. Like which sign was that I said you have to get it out of your system in the first quarter, kind of a thing. For you, the last quarter is going to be really interesting, because you might pair up with somebody who seems to be very genuine and loving, and everything moves really fast, just to learn that basically maybe you don't have much beyond the sexual attraction, and that can show this way. And you're really also hammering this home. It's going to be complete lack of trust. You're going to lose your trust and faith in some person or in some kind of principle. Maybe somebody who you thought was very principled or adhere to something, because remember, this is the opposite of the wisdom cards. It could be that somebody who is very much saying they're, let's say, religious. They're not religious. They're saying, oh, I always do stuff like that. I'm so honorable. And next thing you know, they're not. And this comes to you as a shock because you had a full faith in all of that, because look at that energy that was created. And I also think at the time to actually at least kind of like speak a little bit to advocacy for this person. This person also believed they can change because you are the person who makes them a better woman or better man, but ultimately they can't. And that's really, really interesting. Unless that's a Capricorn, unless Capricorn comes in your life where you have to learn the lesson of just like, I mean, earthly pleasures, just enjoying sex, enjoying food. And it's not going to be much about jumping into new thing and a new vision, because you're not going to even trust yourself. So be very careful about your motivations, what you choose, who you hang around with, kind of like that sort of things. But again, it's going to be a really big year, and almost looks to me that maybe you're not learning, right, from what I'm seeing, but it also could be that you're just letting kind of like yourself have some fun, and you're not a serious person all the time, because the fixed signs tend to have that seriousness built in. It's normal because you cannot build a house and just, let's hope it lasts, right? And so it's kind of like letting it loose a little bit. Nobody's talking. What's up? Nobody's here today. What, we have 10 people showing up for the annuals. You see, you're all packing up. So I don't even know if I should do the 18th. Nobody's going to show up, but we'll try. So we have 2 more left. So one is Aries. There it is, one fire sign, kind of like buried in. So let me do the switch over here. So Aries, and I have to do the switch back. Stamp. Okay, Aries. Let's see what we have here for you, Aries. Sipping coffee and listening. Aries, you have shadow. It's going to be really interesting for you. This is really not typical you. I'm going to speak a little bit more. I already have some premonition, intuition on this one. New beginnings. Ooh, you have water, you have air. It's usually the best one is, you have more water. Water and water is just looks like you're like a little bouncing ball. Would be so much fun if you get more air now. Okay, Aries, eating pizza. Guys, you're making me hungry. Oh, you're getting heart chakra. And these two that jump through is your card and throat chakra. So, it's just addition to it. It's biggie year. I kid you not, guys. It's going to be massive for all of us. But like you can see yourself how the readings are turning up. So this one is spread your wings. Lovely. They're just coming out. Well-deserved reward. This one wants to come out. Healing begins. And darkest fears. So it's going to be a crapshoot, if you wish, like for the last quarter, from what I see for all signs. You are either going to flow in and have a really, really quiet ending of the year, or it's going to be like, what did I miss? It tells me also now that we are coming to the end of all the annuals, that pandemic is going to be fully over by the end of 2022. And maybe this is why I see that like people have been repressed and suppressed, and held the worry, held the kind of like attention to the detail. We are just doing stuff, and some of us are reacting as if, oh, okay, finally I can relax, all this anxiety and stuff, and others are, I'm just going nuts. And I think the difference is going to be if you are extrovert or introvert, how that's going to be happening, right? Yeah, the sun is coming through over here. It's kind of traversing this way. So this house, I guess from the center of the house would be west. So at this stage, the sun is coming through, and this is so lovely. We just passed 111 line. So Aries, again, there are like 5, 6 majors that you kind of like got. And it's really interesting that we are starting with shadow. And this is also very dark, the transformational card over here that we have. So, but let's start. The shadow is going into the light, right? And this is not a typical moon card. But moon card, it's to me always like black and white. Either you are in the dark or you're in the light. But here we actually see this transition. And this to me could be transition, transformation. It's almost like, gosh, what is this called in English? You know, like that when they run and they pass this, what is this called? Can't for like, I don't even know if I know this word, but you probably know what I mean. So it's almost like passing some kind of like wisdom, because keep in mind, Pisces will be very prominent this year. Jupiter in Pisces will have to all dream big, exercise our wishes. Oh, I completely forgot to add the astrology to it, which I do have a write up. I'll probably record it or have that later. But this is kind of going to be very, very interesting over here. Actually, let me see. Where did I put it? Is there anything close? Ah, now the sun is going right into my eyes. Oh, come on. Is this what happens when you clean the stuff, then you can't find anything? Does anybody else have the same issue? Oh, is it this? It's here, Aries. Okay, so this is what I managed to get from your chart. That financially there will be ups and downs, and that family matters will be stable. So stay on. I'm going to add it to the end for the signs that we read today. And you're going to be carrying on finances smoothly. So it's going to be family responsibilities, that you're going to be very responsible. I can see that here as well. There's like something very transformational. Look at those rewards over here. And he is standing on freaking gold. So the second quarter, something we are talking like your birthday, from your birthday to, let's say, 1st of July. It's going to be absolutely freaking amazing. But that period is going to be culmination, but it's going to start. You're stepping from this darkness into the light. You're spreading your wings. And I'm seeing also in what I wrote down here, a high amount of energy is kind of like available, but it's also required to spark romance in your life. So this is what I wrote, literally, during the span of this year, you will find great gains in property and in business. And I'm telling you, this is going to be culmination, but it's not going to be a greedy demand, right? So I also feel that if you want some kind of like wealth creation, it's going to be through maybe angel programs. It's going to be through benefiting somebody else rather than being a shark, rather than playing this big online casino called stock market kind of a thing. You may generate a really huge fortune this year. So overall, I said it's a time of realization about money and also about peacemaking in life for you, my dear Aries. And let's hope this doesn't flip. And now the sunshine is right into my eyes as well. And I didn't order the, what do you call it, blinds for this thing. So I'll probably need to put curtains or something. So let's see what else we have. We have the new beginnings. We're jumping in, and it's going to be something that is going to take off right away. So think about internet business, because this is air after all, something where you have a global exposure of some sort, something that you have the energy to do that because the other people don't have this energy, and you also really know you're really, really fast, and that's where you kind of like have that competitive advantage as well, right? And the initial idea, whatever you thought, you know, like in marketing, like we say, you just throw the balls on the wall and just see what sticks, right? So you have the best wishes to make this marketing campaign work, but sometimes it's just a flop, right? I thought today lots of people would show up for my annual, but they didn't. So you just kind of like, you have to go with the flow. And sometimes you need to modify things like a mid kind of like process. So I see here this transformation that is really, really happening, and then healing begins, right? So there is like this 19. It's almost like you're becoming very transparent. Just accumulating money is not enough for you. That's what I said. There is like some level of being angel investors. There is like this heart chakra here that is really, really happening. You're heading into something else. You might be called to provide support to somebody, or you might be provided the support, because this also means that something must end, right? And something else must start. This, I mean, I know that for example, my brother is Aries, 29th of March. His wife is a Leo. So I can see here 13 and 6. Oh, pardon me, this is like 19. Oh yeah, 19 is the sun card. I can see here this connection. It could be something with the children, a child moving out, or there's a transition in life of some sort, right? Where no basically conscious decision is going to make a difference, but sort of like being present and being there with your heart, leading with your heart, is going to be very important. Then you're really ending your year feeling that possibly something here completely, I would not say rip you apart, but it's going to be tough, because while the heart is there, you're not able to communicate what you really want to say. And you're not able to communicate because you actually assigning some kind of guilt to yourself, because this is your card, it's inverted. Maybe somebody's saying that you have been too much, that you have been too pushy, that you have been too authoritarian of some sort, and you're really dealing with kind of like how to address it and how to acknowledge it. And this is very interesting, because generally Aries, whenever it is, whether you're old soul or new soul, you're always young soul, because you always start a new cycle when you're in the sign of Aries, right? And also when you're sign of Pisces, like, doesn't matter if this is your first run at the horoscope wheel or who knows which one, you always come across as this spiritual, kind of like welcoming and so on and so forth, right? So I here see, because that new signs, your whole job is like to provide energy and burst, and we can do it and get go, just focus on the goal attitude, where the rest of us, we kind of like start kind of like bringing things more. Just think about it like you're moving into an empty apartment, and you are that empty apartment, kind of the tabula rasa, that nothing is written on that kind of like blank slate, right? And then as you come along, you bring your bed, you bring your, you bring your sofa, and the stuff start to accumulating. So when you get to Pisces, there are so many things and people accumulated it, like you feel, okay, I am outgrowing this, it's time to start all over again. And that's exactly how this really happens. So for you to start opening this even higher chakras, actually you're trying to attempt this one, but it's really not going to be successful. That's because of some inner struggle. But heart chakra is going to be wide and open, and something must be happening here. And I would say it's going to be in the summer months, during the summer period, up to in between 1st of July and 21st of September. That is going to be something really, really prominent. And it's always good to have some kind of like self-awareness. And generally, as you know, Aries people don't have much of it. So this is telling me that there's like this growth taking place, and hence you're kind of like ready to kind of like maybe move on, and kind of like, we all have to work through our horoscope sign. Each horoscope sign has good and bad, and we need to kind of like really emphasize that good and make sure we can step in those shoes. But we also need to kind of like let go of the things that are not really doable. And so, like, for example, me, Aquarians, as Aquarius, I have to learn how to be very detached from the people. And you probably have seen that I have grown as well. I hope that I was like really detached, and like, you are there, I'm here, and I'm giving this to you. I'm willing, because I'm a humanitarian. I want to heal. But it was very hard for me to bring these people really close to me, not because I didn't like them, but I was afraid of my own vulnerability. And working on myself, I am now allowing people to come closer, and I feel actually more connected and more productive that way. And it kind of like, it feels kind of like the same for you guys as well. All right. So let's go next. Kylie said, hi Brenda, hi Ikat. Deeply resonating from my rising and sister. Oh, this is the wrong one. And sister with Sun in Aries. I'll share this with them. Oh, great. Powerful reading. Welcome. Yes, was recently discussing self-awareness with yes, yes. But this is we have to also, the rest of us need to understand that this is not their job. You, like when you bring a pit bull, right? And pit bull's job is to defend the house. You cannot ask this pit bull to smile and put a bow tie and greet with people. No, pit bull's job is like to bite and attack, right? I mean, tiger is like very much like a pit bull, right? He just wants to defend me all the time. Nobody can look at me, nobody can talk to me. Yesterday we were at Pet Value. I was getting him some bones, and Harry, oh, such a cute dog. He's like, don't look at me. It's just like, I guess is what it is. He kind of like has this kind of like style, and that's what's going to be. So that's what Aries is. We have to just simply take what they have. So when I have trouble focusing because there are too many things on my plate, I call my Aries brother, and he goes, look, why are you going into all this emotional stuff like this and this and this? Just this is a straight line, and immediately he remove all these obstacles, and like you're really, really clear in a second. And that's something we need to be really, really thankful. So who is the last? Last is Libra. You know, sugar comes last always. And so let's see what my ascendant. And for my friends, I think Barbie is Libra. I don't know if you know why I call Barbie Master Moderator. For the longest time, until YouTube put their little dirty paws in there, Barbie was helping and posting the stuff, but somehow she cannot post this anymore. We tried it, and it sucks because she was like in so much better than I am. But it is what it is. So everything happens for a reason. So we will figure out what it is. All right, Libra. Okay, let's go back to the screen. Put this thing here. 1:22:22. This is your timestamp. How is for that? Talking about the messages for the year 2022. So let's go. Libra. Libra. Ooh. We have sacral chakra. Sex. Now you have third eye chakra. You know what's ahead of you. You're picking your lottery numbers. Then you have intuition. Oh my goodness, Libra. This is going to be... Libras are generally not willing to be intuitives and to be empaths because, again, it's the balance they have to deal with, and that would really take them out, right? And that's maybe what I had to learn with having strong Libra in my chart. Kind of like you can easily get out of balance, and you need to have this balance in order to kind of like do this job that I do. So it's really interesting that you guys are getting rest rejuvenation, of course, because it's going to be exhausting. So let's go here next. What else? We have move reversed. This one wants to come out. Find balance reversed. That's what's happening over here. You want what you want, and then you have new vitality. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So that's your birthday. Your birthday is going to be some culmination, and you're actually going to find yourself in uncharted territories. You have 3 chakras, guys, coming through, and throat chakra, third eye chakra, and sacral chakra, so which is very unusual. Yes, somebody else had 4. Who was that? Aries, which was like really, really weird. It was like, okay, you know what? Like, I mean, you have to catch up. We need you on this kind of project, and it's going to be intensity. It's almost like an actor preparing for a role, and it's like a deep training. You have to get all buffed, or you have to lose 30 pounds. You have to gain 60 pounds, whatnot. It's really easy to gain 60 pounds. I have to tell you, you can do it in a couple of weeks. Just ask me. So, guys, Libras, what you have a sacral chakra, and you have move reverse. So move is the chariot. Move is, but not so much in this deck. Look at that. There is like this unity. What is very different from chariot card. In chariot card, what is really important is to understand that somebody is a solo, that you are paving your own path, that you are the warrior, that you are willing to move the masses. Also, like the horses or the dogs or whatever they want to represent, they kind of like have the mind of their own. They're going in different directions. Here's the opposite. If you see this kind of like bond being pulled together, maybe that represents these reins that we have to kind of like have this guide. But here is really showing that the energy of many have to kind of like be born out of love. And actually, for the first time, I'm seeing that this actually has some imagery, but I cannot for life of me make out what this is. I'm going to show you. It almost looks like a duck to me. I really have to tell you, that's the image that I perceive. And then that brings this like ugly duckling story. And you know, the story like always makes me cry. It's about, chicken having mommy chicken having like the eggs, and then one came out really too big and awkward, and it was always falling, and it just like looked like goofy, and all this like feathers were everywhere, and she's like, ugh, but anyway, right, kind of a thing. But the duckling always felt awkward and always felt couldn't catch up, and kind of like started affecting the self-esteem. And yet duck had these like big dreams, and sometimes would go on the lake and would look at these birds, majestic birds with big wings, swans flying or gliding, and it was like really a sight to remember. And yet, like at the end of that, would always feel really saddened, because it just like felt that happens to the others, it never happens to me. As you know, it's a metaphor. We all been through these kind of like points in life where we had that, right? But then as the story goes, the duckling tried to find its footing, and it ended up, so let's cut to the chase, it ended up in the farmer's shed, because farmers just took a pity on a duckling when it decided to die, and just go in the bushes where it couldn't lay eggs, right? It was a male after all, right? And it just couldn't do the stuff that the chickens needed to do. So duckling decided, I'm just going to go and die, and was scooped by the farmer, placed in the shed over the winter, and kind of like, let's see what happens. And then in the spring, where he had to go through the torture of yet another year of feeling inadequate, he went and he decided he's going to commit suicide by flying toward those majestic birds, right? And just says like, at least for a moment, I'll be feeling that I'm flying with them, that I'm one of them, right? But as he kind of spread his wings over the lake and he looked down, he was shocked to see his reflection, that he is actually one of those majestic birds. It just took a time for this development to happen, for this time to finally materialize, right? So this to me is the ultimate card that shows this, that we really need to go through all the stages to fully kind of like form all these experiences. But basically all of that created something that really needs to happen, right? So this is for you in the first kind of like thing, because sacral chakra is also something very basic to humans. Without that, the mankind would not be able to survive, right? So it's the urge to procreate, it's the urge to create, it's the urge to kind of like invent new solutions. And for you, this is really telling me that there is like not elsewhere, that there is like something that you already have. So you just need to master up the courage or something from inside. And you have been through the farmer stage, you have been through the chicken stage, you have been through the fox stage. Like now it's just the time to actually spread your wings, right? And in the second quarter, you have third eye chakra, which is kind of like radiating out those solutions. So this is where you become actually spiritual, because this is also a highly spiritual card. You know how sometimes say that you can have sex, you can have a kundalini sex, you can have tantric sex, and tantric sex, basically you can have orgasms for 3 or 4 days. Sting brags about it, never tried it, don't know if it's possible, and I don't even know if I really want it, because after that I'll probably need to sleep for 30 days. But this is kind of like for you, it's taking you to a different realm, and that realm is really shown over here, the second quarter through the third eye chakra, where you're completely out of balance. You're like almost like experiencing something new, and you're like, oh my god, this is freaking awesome. And you're just almost like ODing on this kind of like newfound things, because look at this, you're saying put things in order, house and love and kids and but you're just doing one thing, you're like one thing only. It's a big focus, and for you this is really opening, like this is the third eye, this is your third eye. It's like highly opening the gateway. You are some kind of gateway, and like there's like also something or somebody that is going to rejoin you from the past. Maybe it was somebody who made an impact on you. It could be just somebody revisiting your life, or it could be just that something that maybe it didn't make sense, or it was just like a passing thing. Now it's making sense and it's actually very prominent. So I can see that maybe somebody from um, your childhood or your formative years is re-entering your life, and now like somebody who was maybe unachievable for you now is just like you're all that for them. This could be a beginning of a new relationship, or this can also talk about you possibly joining groups, and in these groups you're some kind of a leader. It could be LGBTQ community. It could be that you're dealing with gender transformation. A friend of mine's daughter is right now, she's 12, and she's coming out, and it's very painful and it's very hard to understand. But you know, it is what it is. It's one of the hardest kind of coming outs that it is. And this community really needs lots of help and people who are able to be that open-minded and help. And you are being gifted. Look at the crowning over here. You're being gifted on it. So it goes without saying that at the end of the year you're just going to feel just flop. This is still a very spiritual card to me. He's in a yoga position. He's still gathering. You're very much into naturalism. You're very much into getting in touch with Gaia, with Earth, draining all the drain energy, rejuvenating, etc., etc. And you may be communicating. This could be actually internal communication, or you may be simply communicating to the others. This is what you need, which is also unusual for you because you always like to please, right? That's kind of like what makes you Libra. You're a little bit too much on that way because you are a people pleaser, and that really burns you out. And I think you're really able to say, back off. I really need this time for myself. And almost like you're going to and this is very unusual for Libra because you thrive on relationships, and this tells me this is kind of like still you're iffy if you really want to go solo on a path. You really prefer partnerships. Here is telling me you're kind of like this stage in exploration. You're really putting yourself into a new role, into exploring different things yourself. Here it's somebody who is like-minded, or somewhere where you can really apply your skills, that you feel really valued. And here it is like somebody who is fully coming to the self-awareness, and that self-awareness sometimes means kind of like R&R and understanding yourself, which means just fully enjoying your own company, and it's really the best possible communication. You never kind of like disagree, right, with yourself. So I think it's absolutely awesome. Let me just actually read. I should have left this on. Let me see what notes I have here for you, my dear Libra. This is Virgo Libra. So what I have here written, it says, incredible ideas, new contacts, and concrete decisions see a significant place. A fruitful year with plenty of blossoming projects and realizing objectives. And this is going to keep you on your toes. And you're going to get set your goals accomplished. A year is going to be completely inclined toward you. And we've seen it here. Simply noting down a list of wishes will do the job. So it's very important. Sacral job is almost like a selfish way of what you want to have. And then that shifts into, okay, you know what? You want to have a nice garden. Then why don't we make a little mint vegetable garden, something sustainable, and then you can teach this later to the others. So something like that is going to transpire, where you're going to feel cold upon something that maybe started as a self-pleasure of some sort, and it's going to go further down. So let me remove this Libra here, and let's go back to the signs that I um, didn't read my notes over here. So let me see who was first today. Capricorn was first. Okay, let me see Capricorn. Okay, Capricorn, it says promising and smooth life ahead, but you have to leave all the tensions and stresses aside. I think that's what we saw in your reading. So I think you had some stresses in 2021, and you have learned how being all stressed out didn't benefit you. So this is now you're realizing, okay, I need to let loose. So it's kind of like a time to kick them out and proceed further. And the mantra for 2022 would be, do not pressurize yourself mentally or physically. And it's going to be very, very important. And you'll be really given extra attention from your family and close ones. They might have some kind of mixed intention behind what that's happening, but you're just going to say, well, not my project, not my cup of coffee, and kind of like enjoy being wanted and being kind of like somebody who is seen for giving a great advice. But also avoid making too many demands, because that's going to kind of like slow you down. You just really need to be very respectful of appreciative of respect given to you. And that's going to be very, very important. I would just say that you need to postpone any property deals for the second part of a year. So after Capricorn, we went to Aquarius. So Aquarius, 2021 for Aquarius was a year of backfalls and possibly hardships and possibly enough is enough. And the 2022 is going to be, okay, I jumped, and that was like the full card. I jumped and I landed on my feet. It's a sigh of relief, right? So life is going to be back on track, and it's going to be a platter full of positive energies and rich possibilities. There are also prospective opportunities. As we've seen, the sun will shine. We are going to be in the star card, and the light is going to be shared. So expect a strong influence of improvement, both on personal and professional front. So all of your hard work, and why am I on the wrong screen here? What happened? Please get me back to my people. I want to talk to everybody. Not letting me switch. Oh, well, I need to remove this Libra here. I thought I did, and I didn't. There we go. I did this. Where am I? We're going to have a big stretch of good luck, and it's going to be seen in all aspects of life, work, money, or fame. Going to be really important. And almost like feels like if you guys have mental health issues, such as specifically like worries or anxieties, that Nine of Swords, that's going to be part of the past. And that's going to be happening through Aquarians implementing new fitness, a new fitness regime, a new healthy diet, but what is most importantly, a moderate lifestyle, which is usually extremes for Aquarians. So money will increase, and real estate will be a good investment, but be very, very cautious. Also check all of the legal documents. And I would also say stick to commercial properties, not to residential ones, if you do that. And who was next? One was Gemini. Gemini, success is the name of the year. So planning is going to be essential, and that's what we saw, that wisdom card, if you remember. See, you can kind of like, with this reading in the end, jog your memory. It's going to be lots of happy influences from every direction of your life, and it's going to make you very energetic and very determined. You are going to have a main wish. It's almost like a goal that you crave with every cell in your body. It's going to be to have a free and fruitful life, and you will take all efforts to make it possible. So success is your mantra. Success. So it's Freudian slip, success, maybe sex as well. and your financial horizons are going to really expand, and you're going to be really versed and powerful in that. So because you have luck, you kind of like also need to transition away from any negativity, because negativity can be that anchor that pulls you back. So the moment when you release these clouds, like the luck just appears, right? So it's just kind of like you need to chase away that, and you will feel really connected to people around you, and family will really need you in their lives. I have to stress that your health can be a little bit worrisome, so you really need to keep things in balance and sort of like pay attention to your well-being. Career, it's going to be full of promotions, but it's going to come in increments. You have a dream to acquire land or to own a house, and I really think this can come true this year. And I also feel that you might have frequent trips that's not going to be neighborhood trips. It's going to be something more substantial, maybe even trips abroad. So this year, I think the key of the year is going to be balance of some sort, right? So that's a Gemini. After Gemini, we jumped into, whoa, did I spend so much time over here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, see here, Leo. We have Leo. I didn't read Leo. So I said here that it's a prospective year to try and do lots of different experiments, so trials and errors, and they will prove fruitful. You're actually going to benefit this year from creativity, imagination, and you're going to have really good health this year, and it's going to be applying both to physical and mental aspects. You really need to also have a proper diet that's kind of like cat's orders, doctor's orders, so that way that you really don't burn yourself too much, because you'll be on the go all the time. You'll really have immense support from your family members, and if you have children, they are going to be shining through, like especially if there's like some kind of academic achievement, it's going to be something really amazing. As far as investments, I would say liquid investments to be avoided during March and during August. Very important. Residential real estate is a good investment through November, and it's going to be really highly rewarding. And you also have something about travel that is going to provide mental peace. And you're going to have in the second part of the next year a trip that could be sponsored by somebody, and it's going to be realized in the second part of the year, as I said. And did I read them all? So after Leo, I had Aries, and I did read for Aries. Hello, Safi. You are coming last over here, but we are going to have a pick a card. Can we have a pick a card? Do you think? Do you think you can let me pick a card? Do you love everybody? Huh? Did you move the camera? Do you love everybody? Huh? Do you? How much? That much? Really? Okay, guys, let's do the doors again over here. I am glad to see the messages were so freaking powerful and so strong. Let's put these little things over here back, so they don't end lost with Safi. You know how the cats like to chase everything off the freaking table. I want to see where is the other part from the last week. Here. So, Safi, we are doing the doors number 2. Doors number 2. I already have the first card that jumped out, which you didn't see. I have a second card that jumped out, and I'm just putting it under Safi. And I'm putting, no, it didn't jump out, this one. All right, guys, who is picking what? Door number 1, door number 2, door number 3. What are you picking? Safi picked door number 2, and I think she picked to just get whatever she wants. And I really hope this doesn't come true, because she's spoiled already enough. So let's see. That's it. Safi doors. Safi doors. Safi door. Sounds like something from Harry Potter. So the door number 1 is 801. So that's yes, that's something that's going to happen rather quickly. It can be a love message. It can be somebody asking you for a short trip, or somebody coming to a visit. And look at the little thing putting her bum over here. So clearly it's going to be something really enjoyable and kind of like bursting with energy. So CBO music is picking door number 2, just like Safi. And the answer is the sun. Yes, she's still going to be the center of the universe. And this is like, yes. And this is positivity usually for business and for children, for families in particular. But the sun is also talking about the greatest transparency and kind of like being on top of your game. So that's a big resounding yes. And it's kind of karma, not karma card, major arcana, which is doubling, or not even doubling, like I mean quadrupling the meaning of the answer, right? And the number 3 is the magician reverse. Now that's a tricky one, because the answer still could be yes, but the answer is saying, you know what, you're doing that for a very, very wrong reasons. You're just like, you know, the Joker and Batman kind of a thing. It was like really that prequel that I watched with Joaquin Phoenix, which was unbelievable acting. If you guys didn't watch it, and even if that's type of the movies are not your thing, just watch it, because it's freaking amazing. To show how it's literally psychological, really. And I finished Money Heist last night up to 3 o'clock in the morning. I watched them all. So this is basically a yes, but it's telling you that it might be involved with the wrong crowd, with the wrong people, for the wrong reasons, or it's going to cost you. That's kind of like what I see over here. So there we go, guys. We did manage to get it under 2 hours. I have to drive to Nova Scotia. I bought something of Kijiji, and I'm just using this as an opportunity. I had to get permission to get to that province, which I applied last night, and it already arrived. So it's all settled, and tomorrow might be snowing, so I'm actually just trying to do it today. So guys, the next date, as I said, please remember, it's not going to be the next Saturday, but it's going to be the 18th, when we are doing January reads, and so kind of like we can merge it with annuals. And it was really pleasure, and it's my honor helping you and seeing these messages and interpreting. I really appreciate you guys stopping by and having your coffee on Saturday. So what is this, like CBO is going to get her Christmas tree. I really want to kind of like get my more enjoyment on the trails with Tiger as well. So I really hope, guys, that you can take away some messages and apply them, put them on your calendar, and note to yourself. I was just reading the calendar notes and my comments on them, and absolutely every single one came true for me. So love you, love you, love you, guys. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Take care. Namaste.